Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I have a really fun off-meta build to share with you all today. It's going to be covering Sweet Business and Actium whirring, and it's going to be basically a tank build. So if you didn't know, Sweet Business is getting buffed in Season 21, and essentially what they're doing is adding explosive rounds to the gun, and it will fire those explosive rounds every so often, and more often when it's fully spun up, which is obviously very easy to do. You'll always have it spun up, and then obviously with Actium whirring, it will auto-reload the gun while you're firing, so you can fire over double the mag, 150 to 300 shots, very, very easily. And it will reload this very quickly when you're shooting and when you're not shooting, so it means you don't really need to ever reload the gun as well. You can just hold the trigger and just go crazy, which is what this build is heavily, relying on. So, we are going to be using Strand for this build. I did make one, or make a version of this setup with Void and also with Solar, just to try it out, with Devour going off and also with just Cure and Sol Invictus. But I really like the idea of just being a tank, not necessarily just getting full health from every kill, but more actually tanking lots of damage and not really having to worry about dying anyway. So, of course, how we're going to do that is with Orbs. So, Orbs of Power you can make with Kinetic Siphon here. Since we are just going to be holding the trigger on Sweet Business, the idea is that you just hold the trigger and you just walk towards the enemies, just melting them. Obviously, again, this is not a meta build, so you're not going to be using this in, like, Grandmasters and whatever. But, I mean, you could try if you wanted to. But yeah, we have Kinetic Siphon, we have Reaper, and we also, I guess technically you could use an orb generating mod here if you wanted to use your abilities. But yeah, the idea is that you're just going to walk towards enemies, beam them down, pick up the orbs, which gives you recuperation and also a damage buff to Sweet Business. It means you kill things faster, and you also get health. Now the great thing about that is that we have Strand on, so what we can do is when we pick up an Orb of Power, not only will we get a damage buff and health, we'll also get Woven Mail, which is a massive DR increase, especially with 100 resi since they stack. I think with 100 resi and Woven Mail, it's like 60% DR. Making you pretty hard to kill in all content, really. And of course, because you're going to be making lots of orbs, you're going to be picking them up and getting health on top of that, so you're just even harder to kill. Now, pairing with this, we also have Thread of Isolation, which is when landing rapid precision hits, you will emit a severing burst from the target. So any enemies surrounded by that target will be severed as well. And what Sever does is it will reduce the enemy's outgoing damage. Quite a lot, actually. Apparently it's 30%, which is really, really insane if that's true. I did look through multiple sources, and they all said 30%. So, 100 resi, plus Woven Mail, plus picking up orbs, giving you health, and Sever, reducing enemy outgoing damage by 30%, means you can really just hold the trigger and just walk forward. Just hold W, hold left click, you win. So that it's really fun. That's the whole idea, is you just hold left click and you kill everything with the explosive round, Sweet Business, and never die. Now, on top of this, we also have Sever duration increase, because, you do want that. It is nice to keep the enemies weaker for a longer amount of time. And then I also have, while I have Woven Mail, Weapon Final Blows create a tangle. Normally this isn't that great, but because I'm not really using my abilities all that much, because the idea is just hold left click with Sweet Business, you can't really make tangles all that often, unless you're actually using your abilities. So what this does is that when we pick up an orb, we get all the bonuses mentioned, and then we also create a tangle, and what the tangle does is that when we shoot the tangle with Into the Fray, it will, give us Woven Mail. It will create a Woven Mail burst that will give Woven Mail to our allies and ourselves, and you can just sit in that burst as well for a little bit and just keep Woven Mail up permanently, which is really fun. So that's the Strand setup. Of course, you can see where the idea of being a tank comes from. And that's pretty much that. So yeah, for your stats, doesn't really matter. Obviously, you definitely want 100 resi though. But the rest is completely up to you. I just decided to go for grenades and melee because I find them fun on Strand. But you can go Moby, honestly, if you want to just have the really fast walking speed, since you'll be doing that with Sweet Business, just walking around. You could also go for recurve if you want to just heal faster, but that's not really necessary with recoup anyway. You can get more supers if you wanted to. It's completely up to you. It doesn't matter. Mods as well. Doesn't really matter either. Definitely have recoup though. Definitely have surges. Definitely have siphon. Even reaper's good. But the rest is completely up to you. It does not matter. All that matters really is the subclass, and then obviously having Actium, whirring, and Sweet Business, and then recuperation. So, yeah, that's it for the build. I'll just have a little bit of gameplay at the end, showing it off. Obviously, it is just going to be me holding left click and W. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy. Let me know what you think of the build. Let me know what you think of the Sweet Business buff as well, and if you're going to be trying it out for yourself. And with that, thanks for watching. Adios. Okay, so I wasn't actually going to do any commentary for this portion of the video. Normally I don't for, you know, gameplay segments. But I figured I would this time, just because I really want to let people know how good Sever and Woven Mail actually are together. So I'm doing a Legend Lost Sector live right now, because, you know, that's pretty difficult content for the general community, apparently. So I'm not going to stun this guy. I'm just going to let him hit me, just to show the damage that he's going to be doing. And you can see, with Sever and Woven Mail, he doesn't really do a lot of damage. So, you know, if you want an easy way out of doing Legend Lost Sectors, this is the way to go. And it just shows how tanky this build is. You know, that's the whole point of the build. You just hold left click with Sweet Business, and just go crazy, you know, just have fun. So, yeah, that's pretty much really all I really needed to show. It's just how tanky the build actually is. But, you know, since we're here, I may as well finish the Lost Sector as well, and just show you how easy the rest of it is. You can also see that I don't have Barrier. You don't even need it. You don't need it for this kind of stuff. Just use Suspend, because we're on Strand as well. Not only are we super tanky, and not only are we always going to have massive DR, and reduce enemy damage, and get health, we can also just basically turn off the AI of enemies, too, for fun. So, pick up the Barrier, with Suspend, and then we just go crazy. And obviously the other enemies can't really do anything to me either, because we have Woven Mail, and also Recoup just constantly going off every time we pick up an orb, and you know, it's very fun. It's the whole point of the build, is to just hold left click and just not die. So, yeah, it definitely gets the job done. Now, we can pick up this guy as well and just go crazy. We have Woven Mail right now, so we don't need to worry about any enemies around us doing anything. We can just go crazy. Now, we can also sever these guys, so now they do less damage. And you can see they don't really touch me. That guy will though, because he's not severed. Oh, he's severed now though. Okay, well, since we're, may as well just use our super. It's there for a reason. Do a bit of damage to this guy. Also got the champ. There's Woven Mail proc here. I guess we'll melt this guy just with the rest of this, just to show that he doesn't do any damage again. Look at that damage. I don't know how much that is, but that's like a bee's dick of hell for that he just did. In a Legend Lost Sector. A champion. Doing literally nothing. It's fun. It's really good. So that's all I really wanted to show. Of course, this will be just that much better when this fires explosive rounds. So let me know what you think of the build. And hopefully you enjoyed this little bit of gameplay as well. Adios.